Hello, let me go over the solution for homework number 5. The homework for number 5 was related to correlation. So, uh, the first question in terms of number of hours of study and grade, I asked you to look at the plot and tell me which one is correct. If you look at the plot, it shows you there is a linear positive association. So that is the right answer. One is the correct answer between number of hours of study and grade. And it's intuitive. If you look at 1 hours, it's 60 grade, and the 2 hours 65 and 375 and so forth. It's going up and it tells you. And calculating sample Pearson correlation coefficient, the correct answer was 0.99. What I use, there is two ways you can do that. As I mentioned in tips, I use this formula Rx sum square xy over the square root of sum square xx times sum square yy, which I calculate the sum square x square. I have 190 minus 40 times 40 divided by 10. I got 30. The same I did for y squared, 63301 minus 789 squared over 10. And then SXY, the sum, it was 3332 minus 40 times 789 divided by 10, and then 176 over square root of 30 times square root of 1048.9. I got 0.99. So there is a positive and strong. That's 0.99 came. What is the T statistics? Again, easily I can calculate T because I have R. If you put R in the formula and you get 22.118, and RT from table is 2.306. Since 22.18 is greater than 2.306, we reject null and conclude there is a linear positive relationship between number of hours of study and the grade. So the question C was 22.8. And what is the conclusion? Yes, because our T statistics is greater than T from table, and we reject the null and conclude that there is a linear positive relationship between number of hours study and grade. That's important for you to explain the correlation in terms of linear relationship, either positive or negative. So that's for question 1. Question 2 is the same way you you go. So first of all, looking the scatter plot. If you look at it, it's going down. It's not quite like the other one, but it's strongly going down. So it's negative. So it seems there is a negative linear. Again, the Pearson correlation, I use the same formula. And if you use the same formula, you get negative 0.89. Again, you have those values, sum square, and so you can get the negative value. And and based on the T statistics, we calculate T statistics again the same way, R times the square root n minus 2, 1 minus R squared, and replacing your correlation. Remember, you have to put the negative value there. So you get negative 5.8, and T8 and 0.995, you get 3.355. So you're looking at the left side, either the absolute value or looking at left side. So since negative 5.8 is less than negative, we reject the null. Or you can say if the absolute value of a negative 5.8 is greater than 3.35, you reject and conclude there is a linear negative relationship. And calculating the Spearman correlation, again, you ranking the anxiety, you ranking the physical activity, you take the difference, and 8 minus 1, for example, and then you square all those values, you get your sum squared d, and you're using this formula, and uh, uh, you get negative 0.903, which is the negative 0.90, the correct answer. So that's question 2. The question 3, the highest correlation was between anxiety and smoking, which is 0.8. What is the partial correlation between anxiety and after controlling for smoking? So anxiety, the first term is your anxiety and physical activity, your main independent is negative 0.6 minus. Then you have anxiety and the anxiety and the third variable smoking, which is 0.8 times now the physical activity, and third variable is smoking, controlling variable, negative 4. And then you're going to divide it by the square of correlation for those two terms. So 1 minus R1 squared, which is again your independent and controlling variable, which is physical activity, and negative 0.4, you square times 1 minus point square, and you get negative 0.51. And this is the partial correlation which you can explain. There is a partial linear correlation between anxiety and physical activity after controlling for smoking. And this is negative. Basically, you're removing the effect of smoking from both anxiety, your outcome, and independent variable physical activity. For semi-partial, the only difference is you are only removing the effect of smoking from your main independent variable. In denominator, you do not put the correlation between anxiety and physical activity there anymore. So anxiety and smoking, I'm sorry. So you only put take the correlation from smoking and physical activity, which is here. So you get negative 0.306. And here, the way you're going to explain, you would say there is a negative linear association between anxiety and physical after controlling for smoking, which means removing smoking from physical activity only. So question 4, I ask you to look at the article. Obviously, the title of table tell you was Pearson correlation. What is correlation between factor 1 and factor 4? Again, looking factor 1 and factor 4 is 0.53. That is the correct correlation. What is the correlation factor 2 and factor 4? Again, factor 2 you're going to look at here, and factor 4 is 0.32. Both of them is significant if you look at the p-value was less than. How many of correlation are positive in table? So you would just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of them is positive, and that was the correct answer. I hope this helped you to understand, and if you miss anything, understand why you missed. If you have any question, you can contact me.